everybody. There he is, ready for the hopium. All right. You're not selling this shit about Tua, right? You know he's out, right?
I'm not selling any hopium on Tua playing. No. But I will sell hopium on the Dolphins getting the two results they need. Although I don't feel great about that second one, about the Chiefs coming through with the number 1 seed all secured. But there is hope. You got to have hope when it just comes down to week 18 and you only need one other result. I mean, teams have gotten in with a far more that they need to happen.
Seriously. I saw his. I think I saw his tweet. Yeah. Chiefs, Kevin Harlan. Oh, okay.
It was the Chiefs doing the call when what was it? The Chiefs needed the Dolphins, I think, to beat the Patriots
to get a first round bye.
So now Furones was throwing out there that it's time for the Chiefs or for them to help us out.
Yeah,
the editors are loving the bullshit you're writing, bro.
Oh, I retweeted him.
Holy shit. You're like selling it, boy. You are selling that hopium.
I retweeted him. I said the hopium is strong with this one.
Yeah, definitely. Holy crap. Okay. All right. So we're counting on Carson Wentz to find his mojo. By the way, he is what an enigma, right? Because physically, that guy lacked nothing, bro. That guy would make plays that were so athletic, and the injuries and how that guy lost his mojo after those injuries. Wow, dude, like Carson Wentz, like really went, I'm trying to think of that baseball player from the Twins, Knobloch. Chuck Knobloch. No, it wasn't Knobloch. It was no, it was somebody else.
Well, Knobloch had the yips with the Yankees.
He did have it. It was him. It was with the Yankees. Okay, that's what it was.
Yeah, he had already been with the Yankees for a while. Because he had some good seasons with them.
Yeah.
But are you thinking of someone else though?
Maybe it was Knobloch. Maybe I'm getting confused. It was Knobloch.
Did he have injuries too?
Yeah, Chuck Knobloch. Yeah, it was him. Yeah, it was him.
I know he had
the other guy from the Cardinals also had the yips too, and he completely lost it too. Who?
Oh, was
Steve Sachs? Yeah, the syndrome. Yeah. Steve Sachs. Yeah, I remember that, man. Yeah, it's crazy, man. Carson Wentz. So the Dolphins' hopes lie on Carson Wentz. Yeah, Rick Ankiel is the guy. Yeah, that's him.
Rick Ankiel. Yeah, he turned into an outfielder after he was a pitcher.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, Ankiel is another guy. So, Wentz got the yips, and he's never been the same again. And then that's kind of what you're counting on now is this guy to kind of find his mojo again. But, I mean, I don't expect Chris Jones to play. I don't expect Travis Kelce to play. Right. I mean, they're going to hold out a bunch of their studs, dude, in this game, So, Denver needs this game. Denver must win. They have to win. You know what I'm saying? So I just and isn't Denver home also?
Yes, Denver's at home, and they came down to a blocked field goal at the end. The first time they met the Broncos, or the first time they met the Chiefs.
Yeah. So I mean, are you like really high there from Colorado weed, or what's the deal?
Oh no, I mean look, they're 10.5 point underdogs. The Chiefs are for a reason, but. When you only need one other result, it's win and one other result. Then I mean, because the Dolphins also got the luck of the Colts losing, and they were eliminated just last week when they had the Colts had the Giants and they had the Jaguars this week, where it was tough to find that Colts loss that the Dolphins would have needed too. So I mean, really, when you just need one other result, I mean, it's there. Just. I know that one result will be tough to imagine when the Chiefs aren't going to be playing very many key players.
In the end, bro, it would be catastrophically stupid by the Miami Dolphins to play an unathletic, injured quarterback who refuses to take care of his body. Let's be honest. That's exactly how we have to describe Tua. An unathletic, injured quarterback who refuses to take care of his body. That risk in itself, you can't put him out there at all. So to me, that's the most important part of it. If you're going to have a quarterback next year, and you don't want to, you already lost Chubb last year for this year. You screwed up with Jalen Phillips. Now you've lost him for the rest of the year, and you won't have him till next year. You don't want to lose Tua for next year. So let him heal up, dude.
Yeah.
And move on, right? I mean, that's really the smart move.
And I think the key part of that phrase you use there is the injured part, where if you just had an unathletic quarterback who refuses to protect himself, he would be out there playing. But the injured part is truly what will be keeping him off. Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't see it for Tua. And based on what we've seen, he has thrown some warm-up passes in period 1 of practice, which is all. And then once the team is actually running drills with the quarterback, with the offense, with receivers, then it's Huntley going. So, and then we don't see the true full team periods of practice during the season. So, it's not looking like it. And I'm sure Tua it'll just be a limited again on the injury report, but that's that. It's the team is Mike McDaniel's already said he's preparing as if Huntley's a starter, and I don't see it changing. He did leave the possibility open for it to change, but it hasn't changed as of Thursday, so I don't see that coming true before this game kicks off.
All right, before I follow up on the Tua question, let me ask this question that will lead to that question first. Albert Breer threw out there, they were talking about the Colts, and then he threw it towards the end of his comment that, hey, it's really, they like Shane Steichen, but it's really more about Ballard maybe. Ballard could be in question. And also in Miami, the rumblings about Chris Greer also going on. What do you think? What do you hear? I personally think they're all coming back because they're all going to give them a chance to either swim or sink next year. And I think they'll do a complete house cleaning next year if everybody fails. But I don't think they're going to do the human Jenga thing again. I think they're bringing everybody back and giving them one more shot at this whole thing and see how they can make up for this because they're already committed to all these salaries. So your thoughts on the Albert Breer report?
Yeah, that's the way I see it too, is to bring back this group, let them, like you say, sink or swim with what they have here. Because so this roster, Chris Greer created it, and now let him either live or die by it. And if you bring in someone else, then and if you only bring in one person, if it's only the GM, then he has to inherit all of Chris Greer's guys, right. Which probably wouldn't align with what someone else wants, and then and has to inherit Mike McDaniel. So I might see it where you give both another shot, and if it's another year where it goes similar or worse, or it just doesn't seem like there is any end improvement in sight, a noticeable improvement, then ultimately you would have to go the other way next year, and both might be very well on the hot seat at that point. But I do wonder just where Albert Breer is hearing it from. Apparently other executives feeling that way. So, is it more like hearsay based on just the belief because of how the season has gone, or is there truly something there? Is what I wonder. But all indications that I see would be that the Dolphins do retain that group. I think Steve Ross is fond of Chris Greer. And I think we've seen like the Dolphins releasing the video of him and Mike McDaniel, a post-game San Francisco game, giving him the team ball, and the photo that our Sun Sentinel photographer had on the sideline of Steve Ross, excited as that game was wrapping up with the Devon Achane touchdown. I think he seems just happy and pleased in that moment. So it didn't strike me as the photo of a man who is about to chop heads at the top of this organization.
Yeah, me neither. I don't think that's the case. Okay, so I'll ask you this question, and we'll come back to another question that has to do with personnel. What do you do? Because here's the thing. We get a lot of stupid comments from people. Oh, cut Tua. You can't do that, asshole. Trade Tua. You won't be able to do that, moron. The contract starts next year, and the cap hits, and you can't. You're stuck with Tua. So we end up with the two idiots that say trade or cut, which neither can happen. You're stuck with Tua. Okay? So now that you're stuck with Tua, okay, you look at their situation. They're actually good at offensive tackle for next year. They're actually good at backup offensive tackle. If Lamb's going to come back now and give it one more year, with Keon and Lamb, you're actually pretty good. You got your center, so you got to work on your guards. Okay,
I just don't think don't count on Lamb because I know he started the year saying it was his last year. Then he kind of went back on it, but then he was also saying if he comes back, he would like to go back home to Charlotte and play for the Panthers. That he might not be in Miami. So
So he's had enough of Mike McDaniel too. Okay, all right. So anyway, so if you can get somebody as a swing tackle, okay. So now you're telling me, that will hurt, right? Okay, you got pass rushers. You get Phillips back. You got Chop. You got a young guy you can develop too. You can get Ogba back or whatever. You got one of your defensive tackles, so you need another fat guy. You got one of your middle linebackers. You need another middle linebacker. Okay, so what do you do at quarterback? Because you're stuck like Chuck with Tua. Now that you hear the Cleveland stuff and Fowler coming out with that report, and Cousins is going to have an opportunity to go to a place like Cleveland probably to start over coming to Miami and backup. So you're not really going to get a backup that's really going to save your season. So do you draft a guy in the middle rounds, 3rd, 4th, 5th round, if you see a guy that's got some talent and is raw, and you can groom him for a couple of years behind Tua, and you still go find a veteran quarterback? But the quarterback position, it's either sink or swim with Tua. It's either he figures out how to stay on the field and do smart things, but outside of that, there really is no savior for the people that think out there to go find another one. They're just fiscally not in a position to find that. Plus, they're not available anyway. Correct? So how do you address that quarterback situation, and how do you address the Tua situation with Tua?
Yeah. So, I mean, Tua, yes, you are committed to him and stuck. You sign him to the contract. So now, you're rolling with him as QB1 for the foreseeable future. I believe that's at least the next 2 years. If it's going awry, I have to check which one. I can't remember off the top of my head which one is the year where they start to have that first kind of out. Yeah, 3 total. Is it 3 more? Or 3 total?
No. In the 3rd year is when they can start to get out of that
right,
deal.
Right. Yeah,
they're stuck like Chuck for 2 years.
Exactly. So you have him as your QB1, and you have him with this core because you also committed to the contracts and the guaranteed salaries with the core set of veterans that you have here, and he's going to be throwing to Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle. So you got that squared away. Now, in the draft, then. Coaches always fall in love with certain guys that they see in the draft. So if there are certain quarterbacks that are going to go in the middle rounds, then maybe I wouldn't draft a high round selection because that's a big commitment as well. And then that's a pick.
No, but plus you're mid to late first, so you're not really going to get the creme de la creme. You're getting, you're reaching at that. You're reaching for a guy that probably is going to be in the 2nd and 3rd round at that point. And why would you do that? That doesn't make any sense.
So that's not the path. So I could see a middle round. If you fall in love with a guy, then you could go that route. I did see, I haven't read it yet, but my colleague Chris Perkins, who joins you on post games as well, did just write a column saying this is another audition for Tyler Snoop Huntley. So I'm interested. I haven't read it yet, but I'm interested in seeing what he had to say about it. He did have a fine performance this past Sunday. That was against Cleveland, which is a pretty good defense. So there is potential there with just how much we've seen him improve from where he started with this team to what we just saw on Sunday. And if he does have another good game like that, then maybe you just roll with him. I wouldn't say it's an overreaction, but the best veteran that you could realistically grab as your backup is where I stand. And then if Huntley shows something that he could be that guy, then maybe I could go that route. But
if you draft somebody, Huntley's gone. If you're going to get a veteran, then Huntley's gone.
A veteran is my ideal scenario.
Yeah,
because you want to win now.
But who's the veteran that's out there, bro? Who's going to be out there? There's really nothing that's going to save you, dude. That's the thing. That's the problem that I think Dolphin fans don't understand, that really the options are so dried up that you're either better off just either drafting a guy in the middle rounds and maybe, Huntley is your backup or something like that. But then again, I don't know, man. I don't know how much Huntley's going to progress, to be quite honest, dude. I would think the Jets are preparing for slants this week.
Yeah.
Just a hint. I'm just saying, that seemed like the throw he made a lot this week. So, they saw something, but I'm sure the Jets are going to see something. And, look at C.J. Stroud. He had a terrific rookie year, and now he's struggling. So, they get film on you. So we'll see. I don't want to get too ahead of the Hundley thing. But again, what veteran is out there to save you? There probably isn't one anyway, Okay, so now here's the compounding problem. You talk to him every week. You have watched him coach. Anthony Weaver carries himself like a head coach, better than the head coach that he currently works for. You asked him about, the potential of jobs. He said, hey, my agent's asking me, are you preparing? I'm like, no, I'm preparing for this week. Totally focused on this week, which is the most professional thing to say because he is just the consummate pro, bro. I mean, he's impeccable, dude. I mean, the way he carries himself, he's awesome. If I'm a young team that's looking to invest in a guy that I think has the potential to build on, there you go. Weaver would be the guy. So you don't really have a backup quarterback. Your offensive coordinator / head coach is kind of a mess on game days. You end up losing a guy that really next year you give him actually some people that can play in the safety position and the pass rushers. I think Weaver can be really, really special. But if he's gone as a head coach, and that's another hurdle to overcome in a year that you're going to be on the hot seat, this becomes a real problem for Miami by losing Anthony Weaver, bro. Yeah. Or, by the way, defensive coordinator number 4 in year 4 for McDaniel, if that happens.
That was the other point I would bring up in that regard is how it would be such a revolving door at DC for Mike McDaniel in his tenure. But everything that has gone wrong.
He's on the hot seat. And by the way, whoever has to replace Weaver has to know that he's on the hot seat. So, this isn't for a long time either, maybe.
Yeah.
That's a problem.
Yeah, but I remember having this stat last offseason, but the last time the Dolphins had both the OC and DC returning at the same time, it was a long time ago because, I think the change in defensive coordinators all these past years, and then when you switch head coaches, that meant new OC that offseason when Boyer was retained. So it goes back a while. I'd have to go back into the archives to see when there was continuity from both coordinators along with head coach. But everything that has gone wrong for the Dolphins this year, Mike McDaniel's best move was probably who he hired as defensive coordinator, but with the understanding that it might very well be just a rental for 1 year because he was a name that was already in the circles for the head coaching hiring cycle last year and interviewing for a couple of jobs. So, and one of the standout D coordinator prospects as he was coming from D line coach. So at a very impressive year he's had leading the Dolphins defense, now up to number 3 total defense. So only more reason that he is going to be a hot name. The one thing working against him is he's not an offensive coach, which those generally get the step up. Most of the jobs, I'd want to see the numbers of how many have the offensive background versus defensive background. But that said, I mean, the way he commands a room, the way he presents himself is very impressive as far as like what we see every week here. And I'm sure he's the same way in front of the players. And every player that I've ever asked about Anthony Weaver, they have great things to say about him, and the numbers speak for themselves on top of that.
Yeah, I'm a little concerned with that because that would be one major setback for this team if that happens.
It would be, yeah. But, I mean, Mike made a great hire in that regard this time, so he'd have to do it again. But now you don't have that home run there that you just were able to bring in available to you.
What any other injuries, concerns Dolphins should have going into this game on Sunday against the Jets?
Yeah, well, certainly at the tackle position, we already know Kendall Lamb was placed on IR Wednesday, and Teron Armstead, he has not looked good with that knee as he's trying to work his way through the second half of the year. last 4 games, he's asked out of 2 of them early, and he missed another one of them. So basically only made it through one of the last 4 games healthy, which you know what you're getting into with Tehran. It's great when available.
That's why. What did I tell you several weeks ago? What did I tell you that they should have done? They should have told them, hey, thanks, bro. We appreciate you. Stick around, help us out. We got to start with Patrick Paul from here on out. And that's what he should have been playing for the last month. He should have been playing every week.
But what are you thinking? If Armstead is able to go, that you would do that, or?
Yeah.
No, you can't do that.
Yeah, I would. Yeah, I would.
You would, but you can't do it realistically.
Oh, well, I know. I wouldn't have re-signed Tyreek either. I know.
That's right.
I would do certain things that they wouldn't do. What do you want me to do, bro? I mean, you know what I mean? I can only do so much. I wouldn't have re-signed Mike McDaniel either. There was no way I would have given him a contract extension. That's absolutely asinine to give that man a contract extension. Yeah, there's a lot of things that I wouldn't have done. You know what I'm saying? Like some guy accused me of, well, you probably wanted them to draft Tua. And I was like, no, dude, I actually wanted Tristan Wirfs. I didn't want Herbert or Tua. I believe in Tua the player, but because of his injury history, I would have stayed away from that pick. I was on record. And, you know, guess what? The guy I wanted has been an all-pro tackle pretty much every year, right?
Yeah.
So, you know, I actually would have picked the better player out of all 3 of them. The guy that's been an all-pro more than any of those other 2 guys. So, you know, it's just the way it goes. But I do believe in Tua the passer. I just knew about his injury history, and that's why I wouldn't have taken the chance. And when they did, I was like, okay, he's got an injury history. He can pass the ball. But here's the mess we're in. This kid doesn't want to take it. Do you think anybody has really sat down with him and had like a brutal conversation with him about like, yo, dude, stop being stupid. Stop doing dumb things with your body. By the way, did Chris Perkins, somebody said that Chris Perkins said that everything has been bad luck for him, that he shouldn't stop on playing the way he plays? Is that true? Somebody said that on the chat board. Did Chris Perkins really say that?
That doesn't jog my memory, so I don't think so. Yeah.
It sounded weird because that's not true.
That it comes from bad luck and that he should keep playing the way he plays?
Yeah, no, it doesn't come from bad luck. It comes from bad decisions, dude. A lot of bad decisions.
Right. But you're saying that's what someone said?
Yeah, somebody sent me a Venmo.
No.
Somebody sent me a Venmo, and I'll read it to you exactly. Hateful Steve, send it in. And he says, I almost drove off the road when I heard Perk on his YouTube show say that Tua's injuries have just been unlucky and he shouldn't change anything about his game. Please talk him back to earth. So I don't know if that's true or not, but if that's true, he's insane.
I would have been on with him for that last show, Dolphins Deep Dive. So I didn't recall that, but maybe he said something that was misconstrued. I need to hear the clip that's being referred to, or maybe I misunderstood when I heard him. But
no, I doubt you would have misunderstood.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I doubt you would have misunderstood that one.
Bro. It doesn't sound like
doesn't make sense. Doesn't make sense because you chose to dive into somebody. You chose to go try to tackle somebody. You chose head first dive, which we won you over on that one. Finally, now you're with me on, bro, stay away from contact, right? Now you're with me on that one now, finally.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Mm-hmm. I was only considering the head. The head he kept safe, and then that's what I was focused on. But it's true. He has been injury prone in many other ways in the past, so he's got to protect himself and just small in general. So,
by the way, don't tell me Eichenberg is going to start at right tackle. Barry Jackson threw that shit out there, and I said, oh, my God, that's Jesse Davis part 2. That's not going to happen, right? There's no way if Armstead goes, Patrick Paul goes to the right. But if Armstead doesn't go and Patrick Paul has to play left, who's going to play right? Don't tell me it's Eichenberg, because then poor Huntley is going to have broken ribs now.
Yeah, I would lean to what the Dolphins did against Houston, which did not go well, which was Jackson Carman getting the right tackle start. So That's where I would lean, that they go in that same direction as last time it
Jackson
happened.
Carmen with a lot of Durham Smythe parked right next to his ass.
Parked right next to the car man.
Yeah. Instead of CarMax, Carman. Yeah. In there, bro.
Right. Yeah.
Get him in there, bro. Yeah. Oh my God, that's
But
scary.
I would consider that possibility too, because you have other guys who have played tackle.
I know.
But they see them in practice, and it must be that the coaches believe that Carman would be the best one for that job. If they also maybe try Eichenberg out for a few reps, Isaiah Wynn, who has played tackle before, but then you wouldn't have him at right guard. So there's a domino effect. You are rotating right guards now. So if you could decide, hey, if they truly are your next two best linemen, then one of them stays at right guard and one could play right tackle. But I believe the lead would be Jackson Carman again.
Let's see what happens there with that one. All right, what do you got? You got him. You got him winning.
I do. I predicted 23-13. I feel like the Jets, after watching last week, are a team that's checked out. I know they took them to overtime in Miami Gardens, but I
agree.
I don't see it from the Jets when we just saw that game in Buffalo. I know every game is independent of each other, but boy, I mean, when they have nothing to play for, you think they're really going to come out motivated. And Aaron Rodgers, that whole thing has been a mess here at the end. So, and the Dolphins have a lot to play for. So,
I thought he wasn't even going to play this week, to be quite honest. I'm actually shocked that he's going to play.
Yeah.
I thought they were going to say, you know what, because he benched himself last week, basically, and the body language on some of those plays walking off the field was terrible, dude. It's like, really, why even bother playing this guy? Play whoever next week. They'll play with some enthusiasm or something. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, it's like, wow. I was.
The Dolphins defense has to come out motivated after they did not have a good showing against the Jets the first time, letting Aaron Rodgers throw a bunch to Garrett Wilson and Devontae Adams. So they need some redemption against a team that really should not have done that, should not have looked that good, and had it come down to all that when they played in Miami.
By the way, he says, Hateful Steve chimes in with another Venmo. Hateful Steve, love you, brother. Great support always to the show, because this dude, he doesn't just send a comment like on the chat board. He sends in a donation with every comment. Like, that's badass. Go to the Sun Sentinel YouTube channel for the Dolphins deep dive with Perk and David, and start at the 11-minute and 50-second mark. Son of a bitch knows the exact spot and everything.
That's my homework. I'm going to go do that before next time.
Steve knows where the crime was committed.
11:50. Got it. I'll go to the last one.
11:50 mark.
All right. I'll play it back before next.
We're all going to go to the 11:50 mark and see if Chris Perkins has seriously lost his mind.
Is this happening live? Are we doing it now? Or
no, we're not doing it now.
Okay,
we'll probably get. We ain't going to do it now. What for? We'll get tagged by your damn YouTube or something for airing that, man. It's like they tag us for everything on YouTube, bro.
Oh, really?
Jesus Christ, man. I can't put anything out there, bro. I don't know what the hell it is, but they're tagging us all the time. All right, man. So, and you actually picked you really picked the Chiefs to win? Did you really sell them that hopium?
Well, I haven't predicted that game, but I would believe the Broncos take care of their business too. Would be, if I was making a prediction myself. So, yeah, I would see the Dolphins finishing 9-8, go on a 7-2 run after starting 2-6, have a winning season, but get left out of the playoffs because the other result didn't go their way. Well, among a lot of things that the Dolphins did wrong all season to end up in this predicament to begin with. Any other game, they would have been in a win and in scenario here. So really the Dolphins could only fault themselves.
Well, I got Sean. He is listening to it now. He's trying to find out if that's the tooth of Perkins now. So we're gonna break it down. All right.
Okay.
What? 11:50 mark, he said. Okay. Follow him on Twitter at David Furones _ Catch his work there at the South Florida Sun Sentinel. David, as always, you're a stud, my brother. Safe travels there in New York, my friend. And we'll catch you we'll catch you this Sunday in the evening. Unfortunately, because they had to make this stinking game 425, right?
Yeah.
They couldn't make this game 1:00.
Well, based on like we talked about post game in Cleveland, is the Denver games are in the Mountain Time Zone. They go the 4:00 window, so Dolphins got to be at the same time. So
you could have played the Dolphin game at 1, and it doesn't matter until the 4:00 game is played. So you're still in suspense. You know what I'm saying? He said it. Oh my God, Sean says he said it.
Okay, wow.
He said he's not going to blame Tua for being a football player, but throwing his head into DeMar Hamlin is just bad luck.
Oh God, no.
Oh, wait, did it?
Yeah. No, yeah.
I must not have caught that one because I would have stopped him.
First of all, we need to understand this. Tua's not a football player. Marino's
Tua himself said he was remorseful that he did that.
But then he didn't show that wrong. Right, but then after he dives. After he said that, after he said, I let my guys hang out to dry, and then you do the dive against the Texans. It's just no, dude. No. You just can't do it. But see, he has to understand that Marino, Manning, Brady, Breeze, they're just like him. They weren't athletes either. They're not football players. They're specialists. They're passers. That's all. And Marino knew not to go tackle anybody. He knew not to take on tacklers. He knew not to even hold on to the ball too long. He'd throw it away. He was the best at that, bro. The play was dead. The ball was in the 3rd freaking row of the Orange Bowl. I mean, that's just the way that's the smart way to play, dude. And this kid doesn't get it. Lots of other guys, bro. Brady wasn't tackling anybody. He wasn't doing any of that stupid shit. It's really not that hard to understand, to be quite honest.
Right. Yeah. You are a specialist who is so much more valuable for the skills that you provide.
Yes.
And not trying to do what all those other guys on the field do. So,
it's not a specialist. I get it because we look at the kicker and the punter as a specialist and say, my God, it's an insult. No, dude, it's not an insult. You're important as hell, but you're so important that, bro, you have to take care of yourself. There's a reason why we protect generals in a war. They're not at the front line. Okay? They're behind the front lines doing everything, creating everything, and helping everything out and leading, but they're not leading right in the front. You know what I'm saying? Because you kind of need them to help you guide, you know? The captain in the ship is in the front. He's not down there, you know, telling the airplanes on the aircraft carrier to take. No, that's not where the captain is. The captain's up in the top. You know what I mean? That's kind of, you know, that's who you are. The president is inside the bunker still running the war. You know, that's just kind of the way it goes. And he has to understand that. And I don't get it, bro. I don't get it. And he has no future if he doesn't do it. That's the worst part about it. His career will end soon if he continues at this pace. That's all. You know, sad part, man. All right, doggy. We'll catch up on Sunday.
All right. Sounds good.
You got it. There you go. The great David Furones, Welt Rheaume. We love talking about Jeff Welt and Daniel Rheaume. 954-966-4646. Bankruptcy. Lots of people have been calling because obviously bankruptcy has been an issue. Homeowner property damage, condo damage, all kinds of stuff, criminal defense, business owner claims, commercial litigation, personal injury. So many of our listeners have called Welt Rheaume and have hired them, and they have come through. Oh, man, like gold. I'm telling you, baby. Welt Rheaume, 954-966-4646. Consultations completely free. Call them. They're in Hollywood, and they can take care of anybody in Florida. 954-966-4646.
This is the Big O Show.